Bum 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 bum. Ranger the Silver!
What's up, champions? It is BananaCrapshoot back for another Carcast. Tommy and I, we haven't been able to link up to record like a normal episode, so I apologize for that. But hopefully, after Venom here releases this week, we can have a nice sit down and go over like the Guardians wave and talk about the hero packs we haven't been able to talk about on the podcast. I'm super excited for Venom. I think he's going to be awesome, so I'm excited for him to show up Friday. But today's Carcast, as I'm driving to a job site 2 hours away, is going to be a little different. It's going to be off topic. I want to talk about another card game I got into recently. I wrote an article that I was getting into it a couple months back, but it is the Versus System 2PCG by Upper Deck. So I'll start out quick. What is the Versus System 2PCG? It is a competitive player versus player Marvel-themed card game. So you play as a character, a main character, and you build your deck of 60 cards with other supporting characters and like events or instant cards, which they call plot twists. And then there's also like equipments and locations. And then you're playing the game, your character has health, defense, they'll have keyword power, superpowers, and you're trying to defeat your opponent. When they gain wounds equal to their total life, then they are defeated. And the way it works is your main character levels up. So you'll have like a level 1, and then a lot of them go to level 2, some go to like level 3. I think Wolverine can even go to level 4 and 5. But it's pretty cool with Versus. They do from level 1 to level 2 is it kind of tells like a story or a story arc. Like an example is like the Marvel photographic version of the Hulk. He starts as Bruce Banner, and when he attacks, he changes into the Hulk at level 2. So then he's Hulk level 2, and he's like a rage monster, and he can't draw cards. You can't draw cards when you're the Hulk, which is kind of similar to our Marvel Champions version of the Hulk, where he has to discard cards, right? So there's stuff with card drawing, cards in hand there. And then when the Hulk is stunned, so in Versus the way it works is when you attack your opponent, so say I have Captain America and I'm going to attack Iron Man, you look at your attack and defense values, and if your attack meets the defense of the character you're attacking, then you stun that character. And how it works is then when you stun that character, they're flipped over face down, and then when they're stunned, they get a wound. They take a damage. You put a damage or wound count or whatever you want to call it on that character. So when Hulk would be stunned, he turns back into Bruce Banner, right? So that's a pretty cool theme design. There's some other stuff where like Ultron starts as the Crimson Cow at level 1, and then when he levels up to level 2, then he's the Ultron we all know. And those are just a couple examples of the theme and the way it works, where there's kind of like a story arc. The Spider-Man, photographic Spider-Man, has Tom Holland in the sweatsuit for his level 1, and then his level 2 is his like black and red suit that he made in Far From Home. So like the character shows like their growth with their level up from 1 to 2. But it is a really fun game. It came out I think in 2015, and it has the expandable release model, right? So every month there's a pack that releases. I think 11 months out of the year they take a month off, but like 11 months out of the year they're releasing a pack, right? So it's not a CCG. There was an older game which kind of gets confused with this one. They call Old Versus, which was like a CCG, TCG, and that ended in 2010, I believe. And then the new Versus, as they call it, the Versus System 2PCG, which is what I'm talking about, that came out in 2015. So it's got 6 years. It's got monthly releases, and it's split into a photographic and illustrated universe. So, if you're building a deck from, like, they call it the multiverse format, where any deck can play against any deck. There's not like a lot of restrictions on how you can build your deck, other than if you're playing a photographic main character, you have to have like all photographic universe cards in your deck, and if you're playing illustrated main character, you have to have all illustrated cards. So the illustrated is like artwork, comic panel art, and then the photographic stuff is like movie stills from, like, you know, the MCU. And there's a couple off IP things, like X-Files and Buffy the Vampire Slayer are photographic sets, and then there's like Alien and Predators are illustrated sets that use like original artwork and stuff. So, but the way they do releases and stuff, and they don't have like rotation. They have what they call featured formats. So it's like a quarterly thing where, so for like this format coming up is called It's All Good. So your main character has to be an anti-registration or pro-registration character, which is based off the new Civil War Battles box that just came out like a month ago. That they've made it as like a perfect, they're calling it the perfect jumping on point for new players. And I kind of agree. I only got into the game a couple months ago, and a bunch of the newer stuff, I'd be kind of lost on. There'd be keywords, and there's not like a real great keyword glossary. I mean, there's a community ran one, which is pretty good. So I had to do some digging to find out like what these keywords mean. So like the new set from Civil War, the Civil War arc, all the keywords that have their reminder text on them, so you know what the keyword means. The characters are pretty strong. It's a lot of fun. But the featured format, so this one for right now is called It's All Good. So your main character has to be a pro-registration or anti-registration character, and then all the rest of the cards in your deck have to be from good teams, right? So Avengers, stuff like, you can't have like Dormammu, right, on your team in the It's All Good format. So they do this in instead of a rotation. That way, you need less sets to purchase to be able to play competitively, and it keeps the cost of entry down for newer players. So the Civil War Battles box just came out. It's a 200 card pack. It's like a 2-player starter set, basically. And it has the pro-registration team led by Iron Man and the anti-registration team led by Captain America, and they release in what they call arcs. So this current arc is the Civil War arc, starts with the Civil War Battles box, and then the next set that came out was like a week or two ago is the Secret Avengers, which builds on the anti-registration team, and then I think it's this week or next week the pro-registration one, the Thunderbolts, comes out. So this is going to tell like these arcs kind of use the characters, and they're designed in a way that fits how they were in the Civil War arc. And then when that arc ends next month, they're starting up a Symbiotes arc. But I guess the point of this Carcast, just some thoughts I had in my head, because I see people posting on Discord and Facebook about like doing a PvP variant to Marvel Champions, or like a head-to-head version to Marvel Champions. And really, whenever I see those, I recommend, or I say that there's already a PvP competitive Marvel themed card game, and it's Versus System 2 PCG. And for some reason, not a lot of people know about it. They might recognize old Versus, but this is like this is a different game. You can't really. I mean, they share a name, which is probably a mistake, but I mean, they're completely different games. One's an expandable, one's a CCG. So, but if you're interested in a Marvel-themed competitive player versus player card game, I would seriously recommend looking at the Versus System 2 PCG. And if you're interested, I would check out the Civil War Battles box as your entry point, because it is a great jumping on point, and it's a whole lot of fun. I've been playing like sealed basically, so just building decks out of that 200 card set, and just like playing with the cards in the box, and I've been having a blast with the characters that are in there. Trying out, there's like three or four main characters for each side, so you have like Iron Man, I don't even remember the pro reg because we're playing anti-reg. But there's cool cards in there. They have lots of cool effects. And then the Thunderbolts and Secret Avengers packs to build on that have some really cool cards in them too. Like Hulkling and Wiccan are in the Secret Avengers pack. Ragnarok, the Thor clone from the Civil War arc, is in the Thunderbolts one, and like a Zemo is in a Thunderbolts one, which is pretty cool because that's considered a good team. And actually the Zemo on the Thunderbolts is like the first pro registration main character that I'm really excited to deck build with. Just that you can do some crazy stuff with it. But I'm kind of just rambling here, just because I'm driving. I have these thoughts in my head about Marvel and Champions and how it relates to Marvel System 2 PCG. And like, if you like the theme of Marvel, right? So in Versus System 2 PCG, the only thing I can say that sometimes gets me is that they basically design theme above all else. So sometimes some stuff might not be balanced the best, or some interactions could be kind of wonky, but they really spare no expense when it comes to getting the theme right. So like an example is like Franklin Richards from the Fantastic Four set can create like a pocket universe, and he puts other characters in it. There's a guy in that same set, Wyatt Wingfoot, who knows he's self-aware. He knows that he's in a card game, so he actually gets his own like player hand and his own like resources available to him to play cards. So it's like you're almost playing solo two-handed version of Marvel Champions when you have Wyatt Wingfoot out, because he has his own stuff going on that you control as well. So I mean, there's some crazy stuff. There's some crazy stuff in Versus and 2 PCG, but it's a lot of fun. The theme is crazy on point. But yeah, if you're one of those Champions players that is just looking for that competitive player versus player Marvel experience, and you want something that's affordable and that's an easy buy-in, the Civil War Battles box is perfect for that. And if you have any questions, you can ask me, or just ask me on Facebook or in Discord, and if I don't know the answer to whatever question you have, I'll get you to people that do, because I'm only like a couple months in. I haven't been in any events or anything. I've just been playing on my kitchen table, having a blast with it. But I've been dabbling in like Flesh and Blood and Final Fantasy TCG, and like Marvel Crisis Protocol, but Versus System, man, that's the one that I keep going. Like I got like 30-40 minutes at home, and I want to build something and test it out. Versus System 2 PCG is the game I'm going to. So I really like it. I enjoy the theme of it. I enjoy the card interactions, and the gameplay is pretty good. There's a front row and back row, so your character's going to flight and ranged, and so depending on which row they're at, how they can attack, and you can protect characters behind you. Flight characters can fly over characters in your opponent's front row as long as none of them have flight. There are some cool interaction that makes it for very thematic battles. And if you're playing in the photographic universe with like the MCU versions of characters, then you can create like even like cinematic battles, which are pretty cool to play out. But yeah, it's a real solid game with a pretty good community on Discord and Facebook. I think it's called the Versus System 2 PCG Collective is the Facebook group. And then the Reddit is active and well maintained. It's probably one of the better Reddits communities that I check in on from time to time. The community members do a great job keeping up with the Reddit. And there's like a couple like how-to or like what to buy flow charts for new players getting into the game. Like, all right, this is pack what I got. What's some good stuff I can buy to supplement? They have some good like flow charts to help new players out. But I still consider myself a new player. I don't have all the product yet, but I'm kind of buying stuff a pack or two each week. And it's cool to get those and open up the packs and experience that stuff for the first time. Getting the Defenders pack and seeing the Daredevil character and like the Punisher supporting characters and like all the, I don't know. I'm just having a lot of fun with it, and I just wanted to say for people looking for a competitive or player versus player, you don't even have to be competitive just to play your kitchen table. The Versus System 2PCG is the Marvel themed card game. Is there for you, and it's easily accessible. And the Civil War Battle Box that just came out is a perfect spot for new prospective players to jump in on. So I definitely recommend checking that out. Sorry for the rambling, but this is it. This is my off-topic Carcast for today. I will have a Marvel Champions article this week, another high fives on aggression cards that aren't allies. For some reason, I was going to put that out today, but for some reason the app for Wix is not accepting my image uploads for the card images. So I don't know what's up with that. But yeah, so once I get the card images uploaded, that'll be up. And then I'm probably going to do another Carcast sometime this week, just on more Marvel Champions thoughts. But Versus has been on my mind over the weekend with like Thunderbolts coming out this week, and Secret Avengers had come out, and Civil War not long ago. So yeah, I'm just theory crafting and deck building in my head. So I wanted to get those thoughts out into some other type of medium for players that are interested in a player versus player Marvel card game experience. Versus System 2PCG is there for you, so I definitely recommend checking it out. Any other questions, hit me up on Facebook or Discord, and I'll help you out. Alright, so that is it for this one. I'm BananaCrapshoot. Stay scheming, champions.
I have no idea what I'm talking about.